Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is amazing. And as I told you yesterday, I was gone last week. I was on a cruise, and we're going to talk about that. This is my first cruise of any kind. Same for M. We'd never done it before. And this wasn't just a cruise, this was a floating music festival put on by the band Flogging Molly. And it's called Flogging Molly Salty Dog Cruise. And I believe this was the 6th or 7th year the cruise has run. It's the first time, obviously, I've been on it. And it was amazing. I was blown away. I have been traveling for 20 years to see Flogging Molly play. This was the first time I could get on the boat because it's, costly. And I really wish I had been able to do it all these years because we weren't sure what to expect. We were expecting a cruise that happened to have music. That is the opposite of what this adventure was. We did stop. The ship stopped in the Bahamas. It was technically a, cruise to Nassau and then Freeport, Grand Bahama Island. But we quickly learned that we would have been just as happy if the ship never stopped anywhere because what we really wanted to do was on the boat the entire time. We did go out and see the beach and visit with, the shops and stuff that are... If you haven't been to the Bahamas, especially Nassau, like that island is super tiny and really only exists for tourism. And so when you get off the boat, you're just immediately undulated with just people screaming at you to buy their thing. And they're all nice and happy, but they're very pushy. And we just wanted to kind of go to the beach. And so we did. We spent about an hour there, went back on the boat. Like, let's just go back to the boat. It's better there, right? And that was our experience. And so this cruise, this is a floating music festival. There was something like, I don't know, 15 or 20 or some number of bands on the ticket. Obviously, Flogging Molly was there. And if you don't know who Flogging Molly is, they're an Irish rock / punk band. They attract a punk crowd, and so this cruise was very punk oriented. And I think everybody on the boat would identify as a punk, right? It was like bands like Flogging Molly, or well, duh. X played there. Yeah, that blew my mind. The Descendants. I'm blanking right this second. There were some big names in the punk scene, and it was amazing to see all of the music. But more importantly, so you can go look up the bill, or maybe I'll put it on the screen or whatever. We saw a lot of those shows. We didn't get to see everybody because it was the kind of situation where shows would start like at 5 or 6 or so, and there was basically always 2 people playing at the same time. So you kind of had to decide who you were going to go see or what you were going to do. There was also like, they had pro skaters on the boat with a half pipe. They had tattoo artists. They had like a magic show. So there was something going on all the time. Punk rock karaoke was there. Lots of DJs. So it was like pick and choose. So we would try to go see a little bit of everybody. I missed a few of the performances completely, and I'm sad about that because when we got on the boat, though I've been a Flogging Molly fan for over 20 years, and I've been traveling the country to see them, I never really considered myself a punk, like I grew up in the 80s and 90s and I was a skater and I listened to NoFX and the Pogues and, I know an X, but I never was really like, punk is my thing. So when we got on the boat, I really hadn't heard of any of these groups. They were just things I'd never heard of and I wasn't sure what to expect. And prior to getting on the boat, Em put together a playlist for us so that we could listen to a lot of these bands. And some of them we just kind of were like, that's not my thing, I'm not doing that. Like, we'll go listen to this guy. So we had already picked like our favorites. And we're like, all right, we're going to see every show from this group and every show from this group. And of course, all the Flogging Molly shows. What we found out though was there was never a set that we went to that we were like, yeah, this isn't for me. 100% of the things that I saw were amazing. On top of that, this is just a cruise, and all of these bands are on the same cruise we all are, and they're not getting like special treatment. They're eating in the same restaurants, they're staying in the same cabins. There's no like behind the scenes area for them to disappear. They're just shipmates like the rest of us. And so we got to spend a lot of time with a lot of really amazing musicians and got to, ask lots of questions and, just be together. And what I discovered was I thought I was going to a music festival and I was going to explore the Bahamas. But what I discovered was I went to like an adult summer camp with 2,000 of my best friends. I just hadn't met any of them yet, right? Like 2,000 people who immediately were my friends. I just needed to meet them and say hi, and suddenly we were best friends. And that's literally what it felt like. It felt like the biggest group of family you've ever been with that just wanted to know everything about you, and you wanted to know everything about them, and you wanted to share experiences about what you'd seen and done on the boat. It was phenomenal. It was unbelievable. It was. I guess it'd be fair to say it was life changing, right? It was a life changing event. It was really eye opening because I have people, right? Like, I've been a part of the board gaming world longer than I've been a Flogging Molly fan. And I have my people there, but this was like a whole different group of people that immediately connected with me, and I immediately connected with them, and we all got to spend 4 days floating around the Bahamas, just having an amazing time. And nobody wanted it to stop, right? And like I said, it was just like leaving summer camp. You had to kind of hug your best friends goodbye and say, I'll see you next summer. And that, that's what it was. But it was just freaking phenomenal. Oh, some shows that stood out for me. The Attack. The Attack, I got to hang out with the kind of lead singer founder, Charlie. Charlie owns Enemy Inc., which did all of the merch for the boat. And his band, The Attack, was just awesome, old school punk, super fun. The Blindfold Monks were a new group that formed around a bunch of core members of a group called the Drowning Men, which I fell in love with 10 years ago when they toured with Flogging Molly. They formed together with Matt Hensley from Flogging Molly, and they played an amazing set. The Vandaliers, holy crap. If you haven't heard of the Vandaliers, they're like Texas country kind of Tex-Mex punk. Just super high energy, really fun, lots of catchy songs. I've had a couple of their songs lodged in my head for a few days. Frank Turner is one of the people that we discovered, and his band Mongol Horde we had kind of dismissed as just like a little too hardcore or maybe screamo than I listen to normally. But we went to his show and it was phenomenal. I mean, it was a really amazing show. Ruskaya was like the everybody fell in love with Ruskaya. They're like a Eastern European themed ska band. I don't know how to explain it. You have to look them up. That show was wonderful. Vlogging Molly was amazing, obviously. I know I'm leaving some people out. I know I'm leaving some shows out that really stood out to me. Oh, the Cherry Cokes. The Cherry Cokes are Japanese Flogging Molly, like Japanese Irish. They sing in Japanese. It was hilarious and awesome, and I got to talk to some of the band members as well as some of their friends, and they were just amazing people to have on board. It was a phenomenal experience. The ship itself was actually wonderful. It was a really cool ship. I had been on merchant marine ships when I was in the Marine Corps. We went and helped do some inventory and stuff on merchant marine ships. So I'd been on like military ships, but I'd never been on a passenger cruise liner, and it was amazing. Like the decor, the even just like some simple things like the stairwells were really nice and easy to navigate, and everything was clean and fresh, and the staff was phenomenal. They seemed to be so freaking happy to have us on board. All of the people that were in charge of the rooms, like they were in our area, and they remembered our names and said hi to us every day. And there's so many memories wrapped around that trip that I don't want to forget, and I can't wait to go back. And it was unbelievable. For the safety conscious people, yes, we were required to be completely vaccinated. We were required to take an antigen test in the port before we got on the boat. We were not required to wear masks on the boat, but all of the staff, even the security staff, even though they had to go through the same precautions that we did, they had to wear masks. And then when we got on to Nassau, the Bahamas, they still require masks indoors, so we had to put masks on going into shops and stuff. So I felt like it was a very safe environment. One of the charms, one of the memories that every shipmate I've talked to remembers is there's a buffet, obviously. Like, you're on a ship, there's places to eat all over the place, but there's this buffet that is on, like, deck 12 or something. And if you want to go from fore to aft on that deck, you have to walk through the buffet. Like, you can't, there's no way around it, because it's a crew side on the other side of the ship. And you couldn't walk in there without sanitizing. They sprayed your hands with, like, an alcohol solution. And there was a group of girls there that started a song, washy washy. They would tell you washy washy, and they'd spray your hands down. And then by the end of the trip, they were singing it to us, and it was hilarious and amazing. So it felt super safe. Everything about it felt super safe. And I don't know how to say anymore that it was a wonderful event for both of us. Em fell in love with a lot of the music that we listened to. We got to hang out with some members of Flogging Molly, particularly Dennis Casey spent hours with us, like just literally talking to us. He told us that, we were his favorite couple on the boat, and we got lots of memorabilia and swag. And coming back was very hard this week, coming back to work. I partied like I was in my 20s. I'm not in my 20s anymore. She might be, but I'm not. And my knees still hurt, but it was totally worth it. Totally worth it. So, to any of my shipmates that are watching this, thanks for making the trip amazing and memorable, and making us feel welcome and at home. We'll be back. Everybody else, thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know sounds smart is liturgy. It is a noun meaning the performance of a Christian religious service in a church. During the liturgy, the singing of Christmas hymns filled the church with the sound of joy. Liturgy, Liturgy. I think I pronounced that right, but also part of me is telling me that that's not how it's pronounced. But this seems to emphasize the li part, so like liturgy instead of liturgy. I've always thought that the second syllable was emphasized.